so you're recording and you can start whenever. We can cut the first part of that out.
Okay.
Okay?
Cut the first part of what out?
Like just us talking right now.
Okay. Hello, this is Katie. I'm one of the transfer admissions advisors here at SUNY Plattsburgh. So this is going to be basically a general overview of transfer programs at SUNY Plattsburgh, what we're looking for in terms of admissions, the application process, the different programs that we offer, different formats that programs are offered in, and information just about Plattsburgh, the campus in general. So that's going to be this presentation. We will take some questions throughout the presentation. So if you have anything, feel free to type it in. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. The slide moves. Okay, so that's a picture of Plattsburgh, New York. If you're not familiar with where we're located, Plattsburgh is basically up at the top of New York State. We're pretty close to Canada. We are about an hour and a half south of Montreal. We are on Lake Champlain, so right across from Vermont. So we're close to Canada, but we're not near Buffalo or Niagara Falls. That's the other end of the state. Basically, if you started out in New York City and you drew a line all the way up to the top of the state, that's pretty much where we are. To give you a little bit of an overview about the campus, we're part of the State University of New York system, so we're a public school in New York. We started out in 1889 basically as a teacher's college. So education is kind of the main thing that we did. It's still one of our big specialties and one of our big draws today, but we've expanded quite a bit since then. Campus is about 300 different acres, 36 different buildings. If you come up for a tour, you'll get to see a lot of that. Small to mid-sized school. We have about 5,200 undergraduate students and about 300 grad students on top of that. So depending on what you're interested in pursuing, you could potentially go on to pursue your master's here at SUNY Plattsburgh. Obviously, being a SUNY school, most of our students are from New York State, but we have students from all over. We have 32 different states represented, so especially from a lot of the surrounding states, Vermont, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And we have a really large percentage of international students as well. So we have 72 different countries represented, which is pretty remarkable, I think, given where we are. But we actually have one of the highest percentages of international students of any of the SUNY comprehensive colleges, which is really pretty cool. As a whole, we're accredited by the Middle States Association. That's our regionally accrediting body. In addition to that, many programs are going to offer their own program-specific accreditations. Transfer students at SUNY Plattsburgh. So transfer students come from all different backgrounds. We bring in almost as many transfer students as we do incoming freshmen each year. We bring in over 700 students each year, which is about 40% of our incoming class. All ages, you know, from 18 to, you know, 50s, 60s. Students that have just been, you know, to college for one semester and that have a semester under their belt, students that are coming back that have an associate's degree, students that have bachelor's degree, graduate work. So students are really coming in from all different backgrounds at Plattsburgh and into many different of our programs. We have programs for transfer students offered in a number of different ways. So we have our main campus here in Plattsburgh, New York, and that's where the majority of our programs are offered. So we have over 60 different majors and minors that are available for you on campus. Then we have our branch campus located in, it's at the SUNY Adirondack campus in Queensbury, New York. We have 4 programs there. I'll talk a little bit more about those later on the presentation. Then we have 2 programs that are specifically online. So they're all online. That's our RN to BS in nursing program and also our online accounting program. Most popular majors for transfer students, so business, psychology, criminal justice, accounting, biology, and the RN to BS in nursing. So those are some of the top ones for transfer students, but we have students coming in all different programs. So what you need to apply is a pretty simple, painless application process. We try to make it as seamless as possible for you. If you go on to plattsburgh.edu and you go to admissions for transfer students, it'll pretty much lay out the whole process for you. But basically, you need to start off with either a common application or the SUNY application form. We have links to both on our website. Both are fine. Really, the only difference for you is going to be where else you're applying. If you've done the SUNY application, like if you're just applying to Plattsburgh or you're just applying to other SUNY schools, you might as well do the SUNY application. They will waive, if you are graduating with your associate's degree from a 2-year SUNY school and you're going directly into a bachelor's program in a 4-year SUNY school, they'll waive the application fee for, I believe, up to 7 schools. So save yourself $50. The common application is more widely accepted by both public and private schools. So depending on where you're applying to, if you're applying to a combination, you might want to do that one. But either one's going to be fine for us. We have no preference either way. We want to submit transcripts from all colleges that you've attended post-high school. So whether you attended there for a semester, whether you think it's going to apply towards your major or not, we need to see all those official records. We do accumulate the GPA among all the different colleges that you've attended post-high school. So we need to see all of that. You do need to list all the colleges that you've attended on your application. If you have less than 24 credits at the time that you're applying, so less than 24 credits earned since you've graduated from high school, we will also need to evaluate you based on your high school information. So we need to see your final high school transcript that has your graduation date on it. We need to see SAT or ACT scores. Basically make sure that you've met the same admissions criteria as an incoming freshman. If you haven't taken the SAT or the ACT, if that's not something you're considering doing and that's not an option, then you'll need to take courses basically up until you have 24 credits earned so that we can make a decision just based on that. You can apply into most majors for either the fall or the spring term, so August or January. I think there's only a couple majors that we don't take into spring. Expeditionary studies is one, but most of the main campus ones can do. Branch campus as well. Summer, you can actually apply into the summer term for nursing, the RN to BS program, and the online accounting. So for the online programs, we accept fall, spring, summer terms. So you can start basically whenever you are ready. Application dates and deadlines. So the next semester coming up is going to be January. That's our spring semester, end of January. Transfer students want to have their applications in by November 1st. So that's your application, that's your transcripts. You can start submitting the FAFSA, that's the application for financial aid. That can be submitted now. We recommend that that be in around the same time that you submit your application. And then submit your admissions deposit by December 1st. And that basically marks you as enrolled. It secures your spot in whatever program you've been accepted into. It's a $250 deposit, and it goes towards your overall bill for the upcoming semester. Fall, that is the semester that starts at the end of August. So for transfer students, we give you a little bit longer than freshmen to get that application in, typically because we want to see, like, if you're taking classes now, we want to see your fall grades. So we recommend that your application be in by March 1st. We recommend that your FAFSA would be in, that can be in around this, middle of December. The FAFSA actually opens up October 1st, so it's open now for the fall semester. If you, wait until you have it, your application submitted, that's usually fine, but they will do a financial aid package within usually a couple of weeks of your acceptance. So I would say you don't necessarily have to wait on the FAFSA before you submitted your application. It might be better for them to have that information. But then you want to submit your admissions deposit by May 1st. If you've decided that Plattsburgh is definitely where you want to go in the fall, that again secures your spot in whatever program that you've been accepted into. Requirements and scholarships. Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking for on average across most majors to be accepted into SUNY Plattsburgh. Most transfer students coming in have somewhere between a 2.6 to a 3.3 GPA. If we also need to see your high school information, like if you have less than 24 credits, usually you want to have somewhere between an 85 to a 92 high school GPA. somewhere between a 1060 to an 1180 SAT score between math and critical reading, or a 21 to a 25 on the ACT. We do have some merit scholarships that are available for transfer students. You don't need to apply separately for them. We determine your eligibility at the point of acceptance. Keep in mind, some majors do require minimum GPA or prerequisite coursework. So for example, education, anything in teaching is going to require a 3.0 minimum GPA. Nursing requires a 2.5. If you are going into like an online accounting program, you need to have certain business classes completed prior to enrolling. If you're going to like the RN to BS, obviously you need to have your associates in nursing to be eligible for that program. So if you have a question about a specific major, please contact the admissions office, talk to me, talk to some of the branch campus, and we can let you know specifically what's required for a particular program. Okay, so different types of transfer programs. We have programs offered in 3 different formats. So there's the main campus here in Plattsburgh, which come to campus, classes are in person. There's over 60 different majors and minors offered. I'll talk a little bit more about those later on. There's our branch campus at SUNY Adirondack in Queensbury, New York. So there's 4 different programs there, and I will talk about those later on as well. And there's 2 online completion programs, which are offered all online. So you do not have to come up to Plattsburgh. Those are for accounting and the RN to BS and nursing programs only. So those are the 3 different options that we have for transfer students. Transferring credits. Someone had asked about transferring credits from a CUNY school to a SUNY school. So this will talk, hopefully that will answer this question, and that will kind of give you our credit transferring policies. We are very transfer friendly. We transfer in as much as we can and what makes sense and what's going to help you fulfill your degree basically the fastest. After an acceptance is made on an application, so you will first get like a preliminary credit evaluation, basically a couple days later, telling you the estimated number of credits we're expecting to bring in, and then 2 days, sorry, not 2, usually within a couple weeks. So usually within 2 weeks of the acceptance, we will have a formal credit evaluation done for you, which you can access in your My Plattsburgh account through your DegreeWorks. That is basically a roadmap to graduation that will show you exactly what you have left to complete, what's coming in towards your major requirements, what's coming in towards general education requirements, what is coming in as elective credit if it doesn't fit under either of those categories. We will take up to 67 credits from a 2-year school, like a community college. We will take up to 84 credits from a 4-year school. So 84 is the absolute max we can take. There is usually a minimum residency requirement of at least 36 credits to earn a bachelor's degree from Plattsburgh. That means that's at least 36 credits that you have to take through SUNY Plattsburgh. If you've taken advanced credit during high school, like whether that was through a community college, we can count that as part of those 67 credits. Anything like AP scores, IB, we can take that too, but you do have to have official test scores sent into Plattsburgh. If you took, like community college courses during high school and now you're at St. Rose or you're at Siena and you want to transfer that credit, you do have to request those official transfers from each institution. So just make sure that you're doing that so we can transfer in as much credit as makes sense. We do it in whatever way is going to make the most sense for you. So like, we will look at what we can possibly use towards your major first, then your gen eds, and then electives in that order. We can also take credit from JSTs if you're in the military, like joint services transcripts. You can send that to us. We may be able to award some credit for that. If you've met the SUNY gen ed requirements, which are going to be things like basic math, basic science, English 101, maybe a foreign language. If you've met that, we will waive the rest of your SUNY Plattsburgh requirements with the exception of like one global issues course that every student takes here at Plattsburgh. So that's basically a quarter of your degree already, which is pretty good. Experiential learning. So that is really one of the trademarks of the Plattsburgh experience, whether you're in an online program or whether you're branch campus, main campus. There's, for example, so if you're in the RN to BS program, there's a clinical component for those nursing students, and they actually work with someone here at the Plattsburgh campus to get clinical hours where they're located. So it's convenient for them. We have a lot of students, especially in those programs, that are already working, so they try to make that as convenient as possible. We've got a great partnership with IBM for business students. So if that's something you're interested in, even if you're in online accounting, you may be able to work with someone to set something up there. There's internships around the Albany area, especially for our students at the branch campus in Queensbury. Main campus, there's a ton of experiences and facilities that are available for you, both on and off campus, in and outside of the classroom. We have the Lake Champlain Research Institute in the Science Building, which does a lot of environmental research. There's a Traumatic Brain Injury Center, where students like in psychology can get clinical experience working with members of the local community. If you're in education, you're going to be doing student teaching. It's built right into your program. We have a Center for Cybersecurity and Technology. There's just so many different facilities here on campus that you can use, and that's something that we really value here at Plattsburgh. So we want to make sure that you get that component of your experience. Our students are successful. We've got really a pretty good job placement and grad school attendance rate. So 90% of our graduates are basically doing work related to their area of study or in grad school within about 6 months of graduation. We have the Career Development Center here on campus that you have access to if you're on campus, if you're an online student. They go and visit the branch campus in Queensbury a couple times a year, so you have that support. They're there to help you with whether it's a part-time job, whether it's work study, whether it's internships, or when you're coming up on graduation and you're looking for, and when you start out on a job, you're looking to do like career research. They're there for you. They've got online resources that you have access to. There's something called CARDINal Connect, which basically shows you job opportunities in the Plattsburgh area, on campus, nationwide, and you have access to that as an alumni as well. And they'll help you with cover letters, they'll help you with resumes. If you're on campus, they'll do mock interviews for you, whatever you need. So they're a really great resource to take advantage of. Registering for classes. So this is going to look a little bit different depending on how you're coming in, when you're coming in, but in general, there's a lot of advisement done directly by the department. So if you are in an online program like nursing or accounting, you're going to be working directly with someone in the nursing department or with Dr. Gaber, who's the chairperson of the accounting department, to put together your schedule. Spring applications or applicants, even for main campus. We don't have an orientation specifically for the January semester. So typically starting in mid-December, they will have the option to reach out to their department chair, and they work with their chairperson. Basically, they get access to their credit evaluation. They tell them, hey, these are some courses you should sign up for. They give you a registration pin, so you can start going and making your own schedule. They will have a last-minute advisement and registration session the day before classes start, both fall and spring. But you should have, if you're sticking with our recommended timeline for your application and everything, you should have that settled and well in place before classes start. We do have orientation sessions on campus for fall applicants for the main campus. That happens in July. So it's pretty painless for transfer students. It is strongly encouraged to attend that. We generally, if you're able to attend orientation, we encourage you to do so. If you absolutely cannot make it to your orientation session, faculty and advisors will work with you, but if at all possible, we'd really encourage you to attend your orientation session. It's nice to sit down with someone, whether it's faculty, whether it's advisors, and make sure that your schedule is all set. It's pretty painless for transfer students. It's one day, usually from like 8 to 1 or something. You have the option to do an overnight the night before if you want to do that at the main campus. So you're in, you're out, but that's, again, typically in like middle of July. So if you can come to that, we would definitely encourage you to do so. The branch campus also has orientation sessions specifically for their students, where they'll come onto campus and they will work with the advisors down there to create their schedule. We do give students, even if you're coming up to orientation in July, transfer students have the option to work again, with their department to kind of work on their schedule a little bit before coming up for orientation. You can reach out to your department chair. They'll look at your credit evaluation. They'll give you that registration pin. Once registration opens up for each semester, so that you can start working on your schedule. And then when you come to orientation, all you have to do is tweak it a little bit. So that's really helpful, I think, for transfer students to kind of have that opportunity to talk to their advisors in their department prior to coming up for orientation. Okay, so online programs, I mentioned we have two programs specifically that are done entirely online. One is the accounting major, and one is the RN to BS in nursing program. And to be eligible for both of those programs, because they are online, think of them as completion programs. So you do have to have certain things to be eligible. So like for online accounting, generally you need to have about 60 credits or so, and you need to have certain foundational courses, usually including financial and managerial accounting. For the RN to BS in nursing major, have to have your associates in nursing. You have to be eligible for your RN license prior to starting to enrolling in that program. Minimum of a 2.3 for accounting GPA, minimum of a 2.5 for nursing. So those are, pretty much have to meet those requirements to come into the program. Class format, so classes online are offered through something called Moodle. Basically, you go in, you sign in, you can access all of your classes. The content is usually it's pretty typically uploaded, like you have your modules and your assignments and your content for the week. I get the question a lot, do I have to be online at a certain time every week? Typically not. I mean, we recognize that the online programs are really there because they offer that flexibility. A lot of students in these programs are already working. But you have access to the same resources and the faculty that you would on campus. So you have an academic advisor. You have access to the library's resources. You have access to your faculty. The faculty that are teaching these courses online are the same ones doing the courses on our campus. So there is really that personable feel to the program. It shouldn't ever feel remote. Our online students, I think, feel really connected to their department, and it's something that has worked really well, particularly with these two majors that we offer. We've had a lot of success, a lot of good feedback from our students in these programs. Obviously, if you're doing an online program, you want to make sure that you have access to reliable, high-speed internet, that you have a PC or a Mac that's going to be able to, give you access to email, give you access to, again, internet. You should have like a basic Microsoft Office suite, things like Excel, Microsoft Word, or a word processor. Probably going to want those. Make sure that you check your email continuously. That is our official method of communication here at Plattsburgh. And that's especially critical if you're doing an online program. And we do have, SUNY actually has an assessment tool that you can kind of go on and see if online learning is going to be right for you. And we have access to that on our website. If you Google like online learning, they'll have that assessment for you. But it's great. It offers a lot of flexibility. You can do programs full-time or part-time, depending on what works on your schedule. And the faculty that work with the students in this program are really great about being committed to connecting with their students. Branch campus. So this is located at SUNY Adirondack in Queensbury, New York, about 100 miles south of us. So they offer 4 different programs. So one is the RN to BS in nursing. As I mentioned, we have this as an online program, but you can also do it as kind of a hybrid with some online and some in-person classes at the Queensbury campus, if that's something that you want to do. Criminal justice, psychology, and also business. So these are also really completion programs. So generally, to be eligible for most of those programs, you have to have you should have about 2 years worth of credits. For the RN to BS in nursing, same with the online program, you have to have your associates in nursing. You have to be eligible for your RN 2.5 or higher. Criminal justice, you need to have, again, about 2 years of classes. You need to have things like criminology, usually criminal law, psychology, and a 2.3 GPA. Psychology major, you want to have, certainly at least you want to have at the very least Psychology 101 with a C or better. And certain other classes would be good. A lot of students come in with statistics, abnormal psych, child psychology. Those are a lot of the courses that we see students coming in. And then business administration, again, generally about 2 solid years worth of credit. So usually about 60 credits. You want to have some foundational business courses, usually things like micro and macroeconomics, maybe statistics, principles of marketing, principles of management, maybe accounting 1 and 2 or financial and managerial accounting. And we have on our website, you can actually go to plattsburgh.edu, go to academics, and you can search, or it'll actually pop right up the Queensbury campus. And we have program guides for all of these where you can see exactly what courses they're recommending that you have to go into these majors. They're offered in different formats. The RN to BS one, I said, that's usually a hybrid where some is online, some is in person. Criminal justice, typically evening courses. And then there's obviously courses that are going to be offered throughout the day. But we have advisors at the Queensbury campus that will help you put together a schedule. They offer orientation sessions where you are able to go onto campus, work with our advisors there, and create your schedule. And there's internship placements as well. So they can help you to get internship locations around Queensbury, around Albany, where you're located. So you have access to all of those resources as a branch campus student. Back to the main campus. So the rest of this presentation is really going to mostly be relevant, I think, if you're looking to come to the main campus at SUNY Plattsburgh. From this point on out, it's going to talk a lot about what we offer at the main campus, sort of Plattsburgh in general, and campus life here. So we have over 60 different majors and minors that are offered at the main campus. They're divided into 3 different schools. Arts and sciences is our biggest one. So that's like all the fine arts, music, studio art, theater, social sciences, political science, criminal justice, all the arts and humanities majors. We have 3 different journalism programs. We have 3 different English programs. And then we have a lot of science, technology, and math programs as well. So there's a whole biology department. There's an earth and environmental sciences department. There's computer science, computer security, information technology, and robotics, which is actually one of our newest programs. Education, health, and human services. This has some of our kind of unique programs. The education programs, these are basically combined programs where you can get your bachelor's and your master's in teaching or your master's in education in a kind of condensed schedule. Communication sciences and disorders combines elements of audiology and speech pathology. We do have a grad program in speech pathology here. If you want to go into that. Expeditionary studies, like if you want to be an outdoor adventure guide, it's a fun major. They spend their time basically doing things like kayaking, hiking, skiing. So that one is fall entry only. They don't accept into that major in the spring. It does not start in the spring semester. So if you're looking for expeditionary, apply for August. Nutrition and social work, we are one of the only SUNY schools that offers those. I think we're the only SUNY school that offers those at the undergraduate level. And fitness and wellness leadership provides elements of health sciences and business. School of Business Economics, as I mentioned, we have accounting as an online program, but you can also do it as one of the programs here at the main campus. And then we have things like business administration, economics, finance, global supply chain management, hospitality. And these are all, our School of Business and Economics has AACSB accreditation. It's the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. Basically, it is an international accreditation. It's pretty much the gold standard in terms of business school accreditations. And we have a lot of international students specifically for those programs for that reason. They also have an internship coordinator dedicated specifically to business students, which is pretty nice. So opening week, someone asked about dorms that are available for transfer students, and there's definitely dorming available on campus. We have 12 different residence halls. There's high rise, there's low rise, there's suite style. 2 dorms are reserved specifically for upperclassmen. So if you're like junior or above, you can live in that. There are 2 that are specifically for freshmen, and the rest is just kind of mixed. The dorms are really nice. I have to say, they've been doing a renovation project for the last 7 or 8 years. They're over halfway done. And they've been going through each building and putting in like a little unique facility. They've been totally redoing them. The bathrooms are really nice. They have, you know, they're doing them like pod style now, where you kind of close yourself in and there's your shower and your sink and your toilet all in one little area. The kind of the common living areas have been redone. They're really nice. You basically cater events or have events hosted in there if you wanted to. You can pretty much request anything that you want. So if you want like suite style, if you want traditional corridor living, you can do that. If you want the high rise, if you want the low rise. You'll have a community advocate that's basically like a resident assistant. That's someone that's there that kind of makes sure that all their floor people are doing okay and puts on activities for them throughout the year. They'll probably take you exploring on and off campus. If you're not familiar with the town, Plattsburgh is a small city. It's about 25,000 people. One end of town, when you come off of the highways, like there's Target, there's Walmart, there's every commercial shopping need that you need up there. And we have a shuttle that runs around town, and that drops you off there like every 15 minutes or so. And you are allowed to bring a car on campus if you want. But that's something you can decide when you get here or maybe before. The campus itself is in the middle of town. It's more in a residential area. It's not gated off. It's not on a separate road or anything. Everything's really pretty accessible. And then downtown Plattsburgh is just about a 10-minute walk towards the lake, Lake Champlain. So that's more of the historic region. It's become really a foodie destination in the last few years. There's a lot of unique food places down there. There's a place that does 28 kinds of mac and cheese. There's like a lot of little mom and pop shops. There's Himalayan food. There's Greek food. There's a ton of stuff down there. That's where a lot of students like to head out Friday nights and weekends. You'll get your ID card that gives you access to your meal plan, gives you access to your residence hall, wrap up any last minute items. Whether you come in the spring semester or the fall semester, move-in weekend is usually like you move in on a Friday, your classes start on a Monday, so you have that whole time to get adjusted. There's a lot of different offices that are open throughout the weekend, like even financial aid, student accounts, admissions. We're usually open for at least a few hours on Saturday and Sunday. Admissions is usually open the Sunday before. Student accounts, I think, is offered, or they're open both days. There is also always a last minute advisement and registration session the Sunday before your classes start. So if you need to make any last minute tweaks to your schedule, you can do that. So you can take care of all that before your classes really start. A lot of academic support available on campus. Your professors obviously are going to be a huge resource. They have office hours where you can go to them if you have any questions, concerns about the coursework, but it's also just a good idea to go and introduce yourself to them. You're very likely going to be having the same professor probably a couple of times before you graduate, so it's nice to kind of build that relationship with them from the beginning. Class sizes here are pretty small. It's usually about 22 students in a class, so very similar to what you might be used to in high school, where you kind of knew your teacher and they knew you and they knew if you were in class. It's going to be a similar dynamic here. But your professors are a great resource when it comes to, like, if you want to start an internship, you want to participate in a faculty research project, they can help you with those. You're going to be assigned an academic advisor who is someone from within your major. So it's a faculty member that in your program, very likely someone you're going to have in class and someone that really knows your field inside and out. So that's a really valuable resource. We have the Learning Center in the library that offers free peer tutoring in many different subjects. And there's also student support services and student accessibility services that helps coordinate any additional accommodations a student might need, whether it's alternate test taking locations, additional time, audio visual aid if you have like a 504 plan or an IEP plan in high school, where you receive certain services in the college where you're coming from and you want to continue to receive those here at Plattsburgh, they will help coordinate all of that for you. Getting involved. So we've got a very active student life here at Plattsburgh. I'd say one of the things that really jumps out to me about Plattsburgh students is that, at least the ones I know, they're all like really involved in at least 2 or 3 different clubs and organizations. And they have a huge club fair at the beginning of each semester. So it's really easy to see what's available on campus and to sign up for a couple of different things. There's a lot of recreational clubs. So there's Harry Potter, there's ukulele, there's hula hooping, there's the Zombie Defense League Club. Really something for everyone. There's a lot of cultural clubs here on campus. We've got a really diverse student population here at Plattsburgh. And we have a lot of clubs that center around different majors or career interests. And those are really good to join because they will They're really good networking opportunities, so I encourage everyone to find at least one of those. There's Res Hall events and Hall Council. So like I said, your community advocate puts on events for you throughout the year. If that's something you really enjoy, maybe later on you could think about becoming a community advocate yourself, and there's a financial perk there. And if you want to make your own mark at Plattsburgh, you definitely have the freedom to start your own club. Can't start the ukulele one, that's already taken, but if you have another idea, go to the Student Association, and they're really great about helping get new ideas off the ground and running. Anyone's thinking about being an athlete, so we have 18 NCAA Division III teams. Hockey's really big here, I think, because we're so close to Canada, and our men's and our women's hockey teams are really, really good. But we have things like lacrosse is really growing. We just added a women's lacrosse team in the last year or so that's growing in popularity. We have men's lacrosse as well. Soccer, cross country, basketball, we've got track and field. So there's 18 teams. If you are interested in playing a sport, you can fill out a recruit form on our athletics website. Also, all of the coaches' information is listed there, so you can get in contact with them. There's a lot of club and intramural sports as well. So if you want to participate in something, but not necessarily with the intensity of the D3 team, you can do that. And there's a lot of facilities for you to stay fit and stay active on campus. There's an indoor rock climbing wall. There's a fitness center with a lot of great equipment. And one of the dorms actually has its own little mini fitness center. So that's actually one of the things they've been doing is they've kind of been going along through the different dorms and renovating them, as they've been putting a little unique facility in each one. So one has a mini fitness center, one has these soundproof music rooms, another one has a prayer space. So that's something kind of cool about the res life here at Plattsburgh. Internships. So we talked about experiential learning, and one way to really take that a step further is with internships. And internships can take whatever form you want, really. We've had students do like big internships with like the big companies and big cities. We've had students do internships with NBC. Disney's got a big program for hospitality students. National Geographic, as I mentioned, IBM has a good program for business students, but they can be something more local. It could be with the Adirondack Park Agency or the Department of Conservation, or there's a lot of local government offices right in downtown Plattsburgh because we're actually in the county seat of Clinton County. There's the option to do internships on campus. So we've had students in our marketing department do marketing internships with that department, and they're able to do that internship and get their hours while they're here and they're taking classes. So your academic advisor is a good resource for internships, the Career Development Center, but you don't necessarily have to take something that is prescribed to you. Like if you know that you're going to have an opportunity with a company closer to home during the summer months, you can do that. And actually, as long as you work with your professor and it's reasonable to relate it to what you're studying, they're very likely to work with you to accept that for credit. So we try to be pretty flexible here. Okay, leadership. So we talked about the importance of getting involved in different clubs and things on campus, which is important to like your overall enjoyment of the experience. But as you get closer to graduation, you're going to be thinking more and more about what you have to really offer to make yourself stand out when you're applying for graduate school, when you're applying to different jobs. And a great way to build on those leadership skills and those skills that are really going to make you stand out is by taking advantage of a lot of these different opportunities that are available to you. If you've been involved with a club since you set foot on campus, maybe in your upperclassmen years, think about running for president or vice president or treasurer, secretary, and then you get that experience managing a budget, making managerial decisions. The Student Association is like our version of student government, so that's something you can get involved with. Project Help connects you with different volunteer opportunities in the Plattsburgh area. Res Life, so I mentioned you could potentially become a community advocate and you get free room and a reduced meal plan, so there's a really nice financial perk there. Campus jobs, we have work study, there's temporary jobs on campus, so there's the opportunity to make a little bit of money while you're here in college. If you want to participate in Greek life, there's about 24 officially recognized fraternities and sororities through SUNY, recognized by SUNY Plattsburgh. They are very service-oriented. They will typically pick one charity that they spend the year doing a lot of fundraising for. They will get involved in a lot of different campus events. They each have a faculty or a staff advisor that they check in with regularly throughout the year. And there's different honor societies that you can get involved with as well. Study abroad. So study abroad, if that's something you're excited about, we definitely have a lot of opportunities here. We have about 30 programs that Plattsburgh specifically owns, places like England, France, Japan, Australia. But what's nice about being part of the SUNY network is that we can all share and exchange, or we can all participate in basically each other's programs. There are over 500 different locations and programs throughout the SUNY system. As a member of SUNY, you have access to them all. So basically, if Albany or Oneonta had a program that you wanted to participate in, you can do that. There's short and long-term options available, whether you want to do something for a full semester or you want to do something like just for a couple weeks over winter break. We also participate in something called the National Student Exchange, which is basically like a domestic exchange program. If you wanted to study in a different part of the country for a little while, you can do that and pay Plattsburgh tuition. So nice opportunity there. And then graduation comes really quickly, you know, depending on the length of your program and what you have coming in. You might be graduating in 2 years, might be graduating in 3 years. What I'm hoping that you are taking away from today's info session, and I think it'll be true of a lot of places where you go, but particularly at Plattsburgh, you're really going to get out of your experience what you put into it. There's definitely all the resources, the staff, the faculty behind you to be successful upon graduation. But college is about speaking up for yourself. It's about being your own best advocate. If there's a research project you want to participate in, talk to your faculty, talk to your advisor if you want to take on an internship. But our students, especially when they take advantage of what is offered to them here, they're as well equipped as they can be. They are typically quite successful upon graduation. So really make sure you're getting the most out of your experience here by taking advantage of what's offered to you. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple of questions that we've been getting. So there was a question about second grades. Basically, like if you retook a course that you previously didn't do well in, how that would affect your GPA and like the admissions process. If you took something like a psychology 101 class and you didn't do well in it or you failed it, if you retook that, it will typically replace the grade, so it can bring your GPA up a little bit faster. If you retook it at the same school, they will calculate that right into your GPA. So they've done that part for you. If you retook it at a different school, basically we'll look to see if it's basically the same course, and if it is, we'll just replace it in the calculation. So we're kind of always looking to, you know, we try to make the review processes as advantageous for you as possible, but we do look at the whole picture. So yes, we do replace grades if it's the same one if you've retaken it. We had some questions about orientation. I think we covered that. So orientation main campus is in July. Strongly encouraged to attend. They will work with you if you can't to create a schedule. Is there an admissions test? No, there's not a specific test for admissions. You may need to take a placement test depending on what credits you have coming in. Like if you need to take a math placement or a English 101 placement or like foreign language or possibly chemistry, depending on your major, depending on what you already have, you may need to take a placement exam so that they can put you into the right classes. But we don't have a specific test for admissions. If we need to evaluate you based off of your high school performance, you do need to submit the official SAT or ACT score. So there's that, but we don't give you a separate test. And I think we covered the housing for transfer students. So yes, there is housing for transfer students available. Okay, so our last little plug before signing off. There are, we do have platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We repost stuff there from current students. We put information up there about what it's like to be a student at SUNY Plattsburgh. So it's kind of just another nice way of staying in touch with us and what's going on campus. I will plug a few upcoming sessions that we have coming up for online programs. We have 2 sessions coming up. Sorry, they're both in November. November 20th for RN to BS in nursing is going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. For online accounting, it's going to be at 6 o'clock at night. And those are specifically to those majors. There will be faculty from those departments, and they will go into much more depth about what those programs entail. We also have an open house coming up this Saturday. I believe it starts around 10 o'clock is when the presentation starts, but you can start signing in by like 9 or 9:30. And then you get to see there's like an academic and a student services fair. You can go on tours. You can see the housing options. So we'll have one this Saturday. We're also going to have one November 16th, which is also a Saturday. So we would love to see you here, whether you're seeing us for the first time or coming back for a visit just to check us out. All right, so at this point, I think I'm going to sign off. If you do have any questions that you want to follow up with, please feel free to contact me here. You can email admissions@plattsburgh.edu, or you can also call 518-564-2040. That is the main line for admissions. And there's me, I'm, let's see, Katie, one of the transfer advisors, and there's also Chatandra, another one of our transfer advisors. So we'd be happy to answer any follow-up questions that you might have. Okay. All right, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you and goodbye.